How the specter of communism is ruling our world. The specter of communism did not disappear with the disintegration of the Communist Party in Eastern Europe, by the editorial team of the 9 commentaries on the Communist Party. Conclusion. In the long course of history, mankind has seen an abundance of splendor and glory, but has also endured countless episodes of tragedy and disaster. Looking back, we find that moral rectitude ushers in clean governance, economic strength, cultural brilliance, and national prosperity. Moral degeneracy portends the fall of nations and the extinction of entire civilizations. Today, mankind has reached a zenith in material wealth, yet it faces unprecedented challenges caused by the havoc of communism. The ultimate goal of communism is not to establish a heaven on earth, but to destroy mankind. The nature of communism is that of an evil specter forged by hate, degeneracy, and other elemental forces in the universe. Out of hate, it slaughtered over 100 million people, trampled several thousand years of exquisite civilization, and corrupted human morality. The communist specter made arrangements for both East and West, adopting different strategies in different countries. In the East, it committed ruthless slaughter and forced people to believe in atheism. In the West, communism took an alternate route. It infiltrated society in covert form, seducing people to abandon their faith and traditional moral values. Using communist regimes, organizations, fellow travelers, accomplices, and other agents, communism rallied negative elements present in the human world to amass formidable power. With this power, it subverted and established control in all social spheres, including politics, economics, law, education, media, arts, and culture. Today's mankind is in dangerous straits. Seeing in hindsight the last 2 centuries of social development, the reasons for communism's triumph are clear. When people indulge in the material pleasures brought by technological advancement and permit the spread of atheism, they reject divine mercy and turn themselves over to evil. Having in large part strayed from the traditions established by gods, much of humanity is easily deceived by communism and its myriad ideological permutations, such as socialism, liberalism, and progressivism. Traditional culture is the guarantee for humans to maintain their morality and gain salvation in the last moments of the final epoch. But with traditional culture under attack and basic moral truths cast aside, the link between man and the divine is severed. Man can no longer understand divine instruction, and evil reigns supreme, wreaking havoc in the human realm. When human morality falls below the basic standards required of human beings, gods must reluctantly abandon humankind. The devil then leads man into the abyss of damnation. But having reached an extreme, the circumstances are bound to reverse. It is an eternal principle in the human realm that evil can never defeat righteousness. Communism's momentary victory is a temporary phenomenon, brought about by the devil, which has intimidated people with its illusory might and treacherous temptations. Man, while imperfect, carries in his nature the kindness, virtue, and moral courage that have been nurtured and passed down for centuries and millennia. In this lies his hope. Global events are developing at an incredible pace. Righteousness is in ascendance, and the world's people are awakening. In China, millions of people have peacefully resisted the Chinese Communist Party's tyrannical rule by remaining steadfast in their faith and morality. Inspired by the editorial series 9 commentaries on the Communist Party, more than 300 million Chinese have bravely renounced their ties with the CCP and its affiliated organizations through the act of tuidang, or quitting the party. More and more individuals are making the heartfelt decision to free themselves from the shackles of communism. Thus, the disintegration of the Communist Party is already underway. The end of the Communist Party is a matter of divine arrangement. Should China's leaders take steps to dismantle the party, they will be provided all the conditions for a clean transition. In the future, they stand to gain true authority, that granted by gods. Should they stubbornly refuse to make this break, they shall take the party's fate as their own, joining it in the calamities of its final downfall. The world is experiencing a revival of traditional culture and morality in alignment with the universal values of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. At the fore in this renaissance is Shenyun Performing Arts, which tours on 5 continents. Using the medium of classical Chinese dance, Shenyun brings these values to audiences around the world. The West has begun to recognize the communist infiltration and its subversion of traditional culture that has been taking place over the past century. The cleansing of communist elements and deviated modern culture has begun across many spheres, including law and governance, education, and diplomatic relations. Governments are becoming more vigilant against communist regimes and their enablers, greatly stemming communism's influence on the global scene. Communism is not an enemy that can be defeated by military force. To free the world from its grasp, we must start by purifying ourselves from the inside. Li Hongji, founder of Falun Dafa, wrote in his article "Pacify the External by Cultivating the Internal." If people do not value virtue, the world will be in great chaos and out of control. Everyone will become enemies of one another and live without happiness. Living without happiness, they will not fear death. Lao Tzu said, "If the populace doesn't fear death, what good will it do to threaten them with death?" This is a great, imminent danger. A peaceful world is what people hope for. If at this point an excessive number of laws and decrees are created to secure stability, it will end up having the opposite effect. In order to solve this problem, virtue has to be cultivated around the world. Only this way can the problem be fundamentally resolved. If officials are unselfish, the state will not be corrupt. If the population values self-cultivation and the nurturing of virtues, and if both officials and civilians alike exercise self-restraint in their minds, the whole nation will be stable and supported by the people. Being solid and stable, the nation will naturally intimidate foreign enemies and peace will thus reign under heaven. This is the work of a sage. The merciful Creator has always been watching over mankind. Disasters occur when man betrays the divine, and humanity can be saved only by returning to our divinely bestowed heritage. As long as we stay unmoved and see through the facades, maintain hearts of true compassion, follow the divine standards for being human, revive traditional values, and return to traditional culture, gods will deliver mankind from evil. The communist specter's attempts to corrupt and destroy mankind will end in failure. We should have gratitude for the divine. Gods have given us the means to break free from the snares of evil, laying down the path for us to return to tradition and the divine. Today, whether or not humanity will walk this path is the choice that faces us all.